back to my channel. Today we're doing something a little bit different. So a couple of months ago I was out shopping and I came across some alcohol markers at, I believe it was Burlington. And they were on clearance, and I bought two different sets. One was like a primary set, one was a pastels, and I talked about them here on my channel. I don't recall being very impressed with those alcohol markers. I think I talked about the smell of them, and I also talked about the performance, but I also mentioned that I wasn't sure if the experience I had was because I did buy them on clearance from Burlington. So the brand actually reached out to me and offered to send me a package of their products. They did not ask for a review of any sort, so I want to say that they didn't ask for a review or anything like that. But out of respect to their generosity, I am going to talk about these markers, not just out of respect to their generosity, but also I think people would be curious if that what my experience was, because the markers were older. So I'm going to review these alcohol markers today. This is the 18 count alcohol markers. They're the dual-ended primary set. So there are, like I said, 18 markers in here. They have a broad and fine tip. Let's see. No color names on the back or numbers, but I do believe there are names and numbers on the actual markers. That's what I remember from the last set. So let's get into these and take a look at them, and we'll swatch them out and see how they are. So I have this set and also a larger set, but I'll do the larger set in a separate video. So let's see what we're working with. So there are your 18 markers. So you have your red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. And then you also have some of your basic tones like your black, browns, and grays, and white also. So you're getting, like, I only see one red, one orange, two yellows, like 3 greens, 2 blues, I guess if you counted the pink, that could be a red, 2 purples, 1 white, 1 gray, 1 brown, but then you also have a warm beige and a black. So let's take these out to look at them. So square barrels, artist concept is on the barrel, dual-ended alcohol marker. So the colored side is your broad tip, and your, oh, it's actually colored on both sides. Oh, okay. So both sides are colored. So pretty much the way you know what side of the barrel is fine versus broad is you have to kind of look here if you want to know before you take the caps off, of course. So there's your broad tip. And here is your fine tip. Let's see. So it's a felt tip. Now, I do remember when I swatched the other markers in the past that as soon as I opened them, I was like, they smell really strong. And the brand said that they use a particular type of alcohol that is better for the environment. So I'll probably stick in an image somewhere here to explain that. Well, I kept remarking on the smell of the markers. Now, when I just opened this marker, I'm not getting a strong smell. So now I'm wondering if it was just that the batch I had was a little older, but we'll see after I swatch them if I notice that they are smelling. I'll make a mention of it, but let's take these out the box. Let's swatch them out, and then I'll come back and tell you my thoughts on them. Okay. those are all 18 colors of the Artist Concept alcohol markers. This is the primary set. So I will say this experience does differ from what I experienced a couple of months ago swatching these. I do wonder if the sets I had were a older rendition of these markers, only because I also remember they had white barrels, not black barrels. So before I go into the things that are different, let me go into my experience with these as if I had not swatched any before. These feel a little bit different than other alcohol markers I have used. And that could be due to the fact that it's a different type of alcohol that's being used in these. I think there may be a learning curve a little bit if you're used to using, I'm trying to think, like King Art, or I'm trying to think of the other ones that have Nouveaux. They feel a little different. They flow a little bit different. They're not as wet. That's the word I'm looking for. They're not as wet as other alcohol markers that I own. That being said, the colors are there and are strong. I don't really like the fine tip. And the reason I don't like the fine tip is that it has a tendency to pool a little bit. So like in the one in my 160, you'll see it's like a dot on the top and the bottom of the one. There's a dot at the top of the 4, at the end of the 4, top of the 7, end of the 7. So it pulls a little bit. So it means you have to write a little faster, kind of loosen your tension on the pen so it doesn't pull up. So again, that's about how you write and what your style is. But like for me, I can see me constantly having pulls because of how I write. So that I didn't really like. There are colors here that I do like. I like the dark denim blue. I like the ultramarine, the deep violet. The chocolate is a nice color, but then some of the colors I'm kind of like, this isn't really royal blue to me. This is more sky blue. The lemon yellow is a little orangey for me, whereas I think the primary yellow feels more lemon yellow to me. I feel like apple green and grass green are definitely hitting the mark of my expectation. But like deep red is not that deep. And the orange in my light is pulling a little coral. So I don't know what it looks like on the camera, but in my light is pulling a little coral. The white color, what was it called? Milky white, which is, you probably can't read here. On the cap, it's a very cool white, but on paper, it's very yellow. So I would say if you're gonna use these markers, you definitely need to make a swatch card so that you're not surprised by some of the colors that pop up. So like that's the one right away I was like, that doesn't really match my expectation for that color. So that's something to keep in mind. The warm gray, again in my light, is pulling a little pink. It may look different on camera, but it's pulling pink from where I'm sitting. And then where's the royal blue? So like the royal blue is pretty close to the cap, but to me, royal blue is a little darker. This is giving me like sky blue. Pretty color, but not what I would expect from royal blue. So I would definitely say you need to make a swatch card so that you don't just pick up royal blue expecting something very different. Numbering system is similar to other alcohol markers that I've had experience with. So if you've bought different alcohol marker sets, it is not unusual for them to jump around where it's like 10, 23, 35, 221. That's 160 and then go back I'm not really sure how that numbering system works. I guess I should look it up after I'm done all these videos, but that's not really surprising to me. There is some standard that they're using. This came up in another video. I think I did a while ago about King Art, and someone in my comments is like, oh, they're using the standard numbering system that my Ohuhu markers have. So that's great. So I know how I can match up. Differences from the last time I swatched Artist Concept alcohol markers. Like I said, the barrels are definitely a different color. I do believe the ones I swatched in the past were also square, but I'm not sure. I'm going to link my old video before, but I believe they were white square barrels just like these. Because they are square barrels, they can be sometimes hard to close. You got to pay attention to what you're doing. That's just an aside. Differences. The colors in this set are definitely more vivid than the set that I experienced before. That's number one. Number two, I didn't really catch a lot of smell here. Where maybe one or two, I was picking up a little bit of scent, but I actually went back and looked at that video and I mentioned the smell several times. And so I don't even have those markers anymore. I passed them on, but I'm not picking up any scent at all really from this set. So I'm starting to really think that I probably got a bad set, but we'll see. I do have another set to look at. Other than that, what can I tell you? I don't have any prices for this because, like I said, this was gifted to me. And I'm actually going to reach back out to the brand and ask them, like, are there other retailers besides Burlington that they sell in? Because I know, like, with Burlington, TJ Maxx, Marshalls, what is another one? Those are the ones in my region. There are other similar discounters across the US and probably in Canada that are very similar to those stores. So I'm sure you'll probably see these in those kind of stores. But I'm gonna reach out and I'll put below in the comments where you could possibly pick these up at. I think that's about it. I think this set has redeemed the experience I had before. I have a tendency, if I don't like a product, I usually pass it on to someone who I think might like it. So unfortunately, like I said, I can't really compare one to the other because I don't have them anymore. Let's see. If I wanted to talk about blending in any way, it's probably not the best way to do this. I am seeing that light color come out on the darker green. I don't remember what my experience again. Like I said, I made that video a while ago, so I don't really remember. But like the thing that's standing out to me about these is in comparison to other alcohol markers I have, maybe not wet. What's the word I'm looking for? I feel like this ink is a little denser. So, whereas I feel like my other markers, am I putting this on the wrong way? I sure am. I feel like my other markers are a little, the ink is a little looser. So I think that's going to make the difference in how they perform. And that's something to keep in mind as you're working with them and playing around with them. Again, learning curve, but definitely that I would say that swatch sheet is important so that you have an idea of what color you're putting down versus just looking at the caps. And I would say that for most of the things that I swatch is that it's really good to have that swatch sheet before you work on a project so you don't go in expecting one color and getting something different. So I'm rambling, and when I'm rambling, I usually say it's time to end the video. So I'm going to end the video here. These are going to go in my collection for use, and I've actually been reorganizing and putting certain things together. So these are going to go in my collection, and I'm going to play with them a little bit more. So other than that, thank you for spending time with me. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.